Just standing at the ship's rail looking out to sea has a profoundly soothing effect. As you drift along like a cloud on water, the weight of everyday life is magically lifted away, and you seem to be floating on a sea of smiles. Not just among your fellow guests, but on the faces of the ship's staff as well. As a steward cheerfully delivers your drinks, you mention all of the smiles among the crew. He explains that every celebrity staff member takes pleasure in making your cruise a completely carefree experience and treating you as an honored guest. Besides, he adds, there's no place they'd rather be. Looking back out to sea, you couldn't agree more.
The drilling operations are in progress. Therefore, we kindly ask you not to smoke on the external decks and balconies on the left side of the ship. Thank you.
The cruise ship Nadir can carry 1,700 tons of nautical-grade diesel fuel. It burns between 40 and 70 tons of this fuel a day, depending on how hard it's traveling. The ship has 2 turbine engines on each side. Each engine has a propeller that's 5 meters in diameter and is adjustable through a lateral rotation of 23.5 degrees for maximum torque. It takes the Nadir 1.7 kilometers to come to a complete stop from its standard speed of 18 knots. The ship can go slightly faster in certain kinds of rough seas than it can go in calm seas. This is for technical reasons that won't fit on the napkin I'm taking notes on. And as Inga and Geli of hospitality walk me on and in, and it's an endless walk, up, fore, aft, serpentine through bulkheads and steel-railed corridors with mollified jazz out of little round speakers, the whole 3-hour pre-cruise gestalt of shame and explanation and why are you here is transposed utterly, because at intervals on every wall are elaborate cross-section maps and diagrams, each with a big and reassuringly jolly red dot with "You are here." Which assertion preempts all inquiry and signals that explanations and doubt and guilt are now left back there with all else we're leaving behind, handing over to prose. I now understand the term duty-free. I now know the maximum cruising speed of a cruise ship in knots. I have in 1 week been the object of over 1,500 professional smiles. I have had escargot, duck, baked Alaska salmon with fennel, and an omelette made with what were alleged to be traces of truffle. I have heard people in deck chairs say in all earnestness that it's the humidity rather than the heat. I have been thoroughly, professionally, and as promised beforehand, pampered. The feeling's not all that dissimilar to the experience of being a guest in the home of somebody who does things like sneak in and make your guest bed up for you while you're in the shower and fold your dirty clothes, or even launder them without being asked to, or who empties your ashtray after each cigarette you smoke, etc. For a while, with a host like this, it seems great, and you feel cared about and prized and affirmed and worthwhile, etc. But then after a while you begin to intuit that the host isn't acting out of regard or affection for you, so much as simply going around obeying the imperatives of some personal neurosis having to do with domestic cleanliness and order, which means that, since the ultimate point and object of the cleaning isn't you, but rather cleanliness and order, it's going to be a relief for her when you leave. Meaning, her hygienic pampering of you is actually evidence that she doesn't want you around. Indulgence becomes easy. Relaxation becomes second nature. Stress becomes a faint memory. I come to have a really complex dependency and shame relationship with cabin service. Since finally getting around to reading the services directory and finding out about it Monday night, I've ended up availing myself of cabin service every night. More like twice a night, to be honest, even though I find it extremely embarrassing to be calling up 72 times, asking to have even more rich food brought to me, when there have already been 11 gourmet eating options that day. Usually, what I do is spread out my notebooks and Fielding's Guide to Worldwide Cruising 1995 and pens and various materials all over the bed, so when the cabin service guy appears at the door, he'll see all this belletristic material and figure I'm working really hard on something belletristic right here in the cabin and have doubtless been too busy to have hit all the public meals, and am thus legitimately entitled to the indulgence of cabin service.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
E allora, grazie mille a tutti, thank you very much, merci beaucoup, vielen Dank, muchas gracias, obrigado, ciao, ciao!
But all this is still small potatoes compared to Room 1009's fascinating and potentially malevolent toilet, a harmonious concordance of elegant form and vigorous function, flanked by rolls of tissue so soft as to be without the usual perforates for tearing. My toilet has above it this sign: "This toilet is connected to a vacuum sewage system. Please do not throw into the toilet anything than ordinary toilet waste and toilet paper." Yes, that's right, a vacuum toilet. And, as with the exhaust fan above, not a lightweight or unambitious vacuum. The toilet's flush produces a brief but traumatizing sound, a kind of held high B gargle, as of some gastric disturbance on a cosmic scale. Along with this sound comes a concussive suction, so awesomely powerful that it's both scary and strangely comforting. Your waste seems less removed than hurled from you, and hurled with a velocity that lets you feel as though the waste is going to end up someplace so far away from you that it will have become an abstraction, a kind of existential level sewage treatment. There is something about a mass-market luxury cruise that's unbearably sad. Like most unbearably sad things, it seems incredibly elusive and complex in its causes and simple in its effect. On board the Nadir, especially at night, when all the ship's structured fun and reassurances and gaiety noise ceased, I felt despair. The word is overused and banalified now. Despair. But it's a serious word, and I'm using it seriously. For me, it denotes a simple admixture, a weird yearning for death combined with a crushing sense of my own smallness and futility that presents as a fear of death. It's maybe close to what people call dread or angst, but it's not these things. It's more like wanting to die, in order to escape the unbearable feeling of becoming aware that I'm small and weak and selfish and going without any doubt at all to die. It's wanting to jump overboard,